2014. Fellow classmates, I can't believe that our graduation has finally come. A day that seems so distant to us as tiny freshmen, causing chaos in the lunchroom, trying to learn what the world of ideas really is, and figuring out how one goes about writing a Kaufman ID essay. This day felt like it would never happen, but now it is finally here. I could stand before you and relay a ton of sentimental and memorable anecdotes about this class. But first, these stories might not be very appropriate for this setting. And secondly, I don't believe our memories are what define this class. Rather, our desire for the next adventure, challenge, or moment to take action. At Northwest Yeshiva High School, we have been given the tools to properly confront any personal or public obstacles. But it is now our opportunity to go out into the world and use them as a means to effect a positive change. In Masechet Sanhedrin, there is a discussion between the sages about the coming of the Mashiach. Rav Hillel Omer, Ein lahem Mashiach le'Yisrael, shekevar achuhu b'mei Chizkiyahu. Rav Hillel says that there shall be no Mashiach for Israel because they have already consumed him in the days of Chizkiyahu. Rashi comments that Hillel's intention is not to suggest that there will be no messianic era, but rather the Almighty himself will redeem Israel and reign over them. Rashi's understanding seems to mean that it doesn't have to be a person to bring about the Mashiach, but rather God's direct manipulation of events. However, the Gemara sees this as radical. Rav Yosef Dov Soloveitchik comments on this idea and says that God works through humanity. What that means is that since Hashem's will is fulfilled through people, we can't look beyond ourselves. Therefore, the Gemara sees it astounding for Hillel to suggest that the end of times will be brought about through God directly, and not through the actions of mankind. Rather, every one of us has the duty to create a better Jewish nation and a better world. As graduates moving on into the next stage of our life, it may seem like too heavy a task to take on. We're going to be busy focusing on what we're majoring in, doing well on our MCATs, or getting that next job. How can we do all of that and still manage to do our part in making sure the world is changing in a positive manner? What's necessary to recognize before approaching this task is that we are prepared. Our high school experience has impacted us in many ways regarding this mission, some that we may not even realize just yet. We have learned to lead, self-motivate, take ownership, and discover our unique potential. The training to become a leader came about as we entered into high school and were confronted with a choice. We could either be a follower or a leader. We could either be proactive in developing our own values and establishing for ourselves standards of achievement, or we could allow others to dictate our values and set those standards for us. As we matured, we were forced to realize that we would deal with the consequences of following in another's footsteps if we didn't learn how to make a path on our own. Part of the choice we made involved whether we were going to motivate ourselves, be our own leader. This motivation also required more than getting good grades. Within the American education system, there is a problem. It teaches us to only have one goal, to ace every test, get a perfect score on the SAT, and get into the most prestigious college. Although all of these things are commendable, it doesn't mean we have truly learned anything. When we made the decision to be our own leaders, we had to decide whether all our learning was going to just be a means toward an end, all this work just for a grade, or whether we were going to allow these classes, these teachers, to expand our knowledge and build our values. Through that decision-making process, we also underwent the painful obstacle of overcoming the barriers that inhibited our success. Ownership was the first step, but then we needed a strategy in order to overcome those struggles. We needed to realize that if we weren't a good math student, we needed to stay after for math help. Or if we had trouble procrastinating, we needed to force ourselves to do all the homework we didn't want to do first and save our more enjoyable work for later. Though at times painful, this journey was also rewarding. It allowed us to discover that every single one of us is special special and has something tremendous to offer the world. Yeshiva allowed us the opportunity to recognize what that uniqueness is and discover the capacity of our gifts. As we began to discover those gifts, we grew personally, but we also unconsciously affected those around us to grow. For example, in our senior seminar class this year, we would watch documentaries about current events and discuss them. As you listened to our conversation unfold, you could hear the different views of many individuals. And not only could you hear their unique ability to analyze and extrapolate their views based on the information presented, but their encouragement for others to offer their opinions. Every day at Yeshiva, we have half a day of Judaics and half a day of general studies. We could have been the people to look at these classes as just letters and numbers that simply end in a report card, but we have become the people who look at these classes as a means to affect the world. We understood that we could take the philosophy and understanding of humankind that we learned in Rabbi Moskowitz's class and apply it to the way we analyze different problems in language archetypes. We acquired the ability to read and understand an argument in the Gemara, and then use those same analytical skills in order to form a strong case for the point we were trying to prove in our history class. Every graduating class since the beginning of time can talk about the importance of leadership and how their high school experience has helped them grow. But for our generation, there's a special mission. There was a time in Jewish history where our people weren't given the opportunity to interact with the secular world. Now that we have been given the ability to do so, it is our job to take advantage of it. If we view this education we've been given as lessons and experiences to learn values from, we will be able to confront any situation with a better sense of who we are and our capability to affect change. And we will have the opportunity to sanctify the secular world with the sacred values that we have learned. I want to take advantage of this opportunity to thank the teachers that have put up with our class throughout the years. We know it's not an easy task, and we appreciate your patience and your desire to imbue in us your knowledge and life lessons. I would also like to thank my parents and the parents of my graduating class for giving us the privilege to attain such an incredible education, and for always being there, whether it be cheering at basketball games or hiking with us on our class trips. As this is the 21st century and the year is 2014, it just doesn't seem right for me to close without taking a selfie of this momentous occasion. So audience, if you'll allow me. Everyone smile! Class of 2014, we are ready for this next step in our lives. I know that it will not always be easy, but find comfort in the fact that you have the abilities, talents, and knowledge to truly make a difference. And even if you've lost hope in your qualities, you have 19 other brothers and sisters that will remind you. Congratulations, class of 2014. You did it.